Welcome to another episode of the Weeb Retreat Podcast. We hope you enjoy your stay. We are the Weebs, your hosts. My name is James. This is Germs. And today we have a lot of great things to talk about. How you doing, Germs?
Doing good. A lot of spicy and stuff ended this week, so a lot of stuff to talk about for sure.
Yeah, this is the final episode, the final week of the spring season. We are now, next week we will be getting into the summer season. We will make an announcement on that here in case you guys don't check out our preseason thoughts video. But yes, the roundup will be changing. The roundup is rapidly, shows are ending, as you'll see here today. Timestamps will be in the description as always. We know a lot of viewers are not subscribed to the channel. Please, we're trying to get the channel to pop off. Hit that sub button. If you're not comfortable subscribing, that's okay. Click on the channel, scroll through our videos, check out a review, check out a new segment. If you like the content, though, please give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. All right, let's get into the final episode here of the spring season. Let's start the weekly roundup. My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero, Season 5, Episode 14. What did you think of this week's episode, Germs?
There was some spice, a lot of spice in here. Saw
There
with
was.
Hawks and Best Jeanist. It was not as good as I would say as the last episode, but seeing Hawks, give that book to Endeavor, and the big reveal of something big is happening, and all that kind of stuff. And Hawks is under, what's it called? He not able to talk or openly about stuff anymore. He's being watched, so. Pretty nice. But what did you think about it? What did you think?
I thought this was a great episode. I thought it was really good. This reminded me why I watched Boku no Hero. I was very critical of the first core of this season. I thought, the first arc that we had was lackluster to say the least. This was solid. Todoroki Bakugo Deku, now under Endeavor's supervision. That's good. Hawk stuff, that's good. Yeah, I like him being a double agent, kind of. Working with the League, but also not being able to talk about it a little bit. Do you think they're handling that well from the manga?
Yeah, I think they're handling it pretty well. It's a nice little tension and the, giving some time there. And, really emphasizing the scene. They're not just, having the scenes, really quick in a minute and just be out, They're letting it soak in. So, they're doing it pretty well. And then, showing off, the Endeavor's agency. You probably didn't notice Burnin, the new waifu that showed up.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. I love her design so much. Beautiful.
Who doesn't? Yeah, it's unfortunate with Boku no Hero. There's never a lot to talk about, but I will say this. I really am enjoying it. I really am. This is the quintessential shonen of our time. Even the shonen that are bigger than this, like let's say Demon Slayer, that's a little bit more like Boku no Hero is the classic shonen, right? This is the typical one that the type of show you grew up with, right? Like a Naruto or it has that good wholesome vibe to it. I really like it. New core. We're on episode 14. New arc. New opening and ending. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was nice. It's pretty normal. Kind of what I was expecting. I like a little bit more personally than the last one, but now we're getting back to a little bit more spicy action. So I liked it.
I liked it a lot, dude. I watched it. I'm like, oh my, this is bringing me back to like this is a shonen right here. You know what I mean? The ending, fine song. You got to be a little bit less critical of the endings than openings, right? Because it's an ending, but
it started
a little bit choppy. What'd you think of that? The animation? I don't know. I'm nitpicking. I know I'm nitpicking, but a little choppy in the animation department. But whatever. It's an ending. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's a pretty normal ED thing. They usually put probably put one or two people, whatever, on it. They don't ever go crazy on it. So it's kind of what you expect.
Yeah, I really do like the visuals for the opening, though. I think they nailed the visuals for the opening. All right, so Again, there's just not much to talk about, but I can say I really am enjoying the series. I'm enjoying it a lot more than this previous arc. I think things are headed in a good direction. Again, I'm worried. Like I'm worried about Deku getting a lot of quirks and maybe some ass pulls. I'm worried that it becomes just a Todoroki Bakugo and Deku show when there's all of 1A that you know I'd love to see as well. But good episode, solid. Final thoughts for this week's episode of Boku no Hero Germs.
Pretty average episode, better than average, better than what we were having before, but
Yeah.
pretty normal shonen episode. Some spice, some setup and stuff as again, but I liked it.
Yeah, it's Boku no Hero. I've said the analogy before a billion times. It's what you expect, and I'm just happy we're out of the arc. I'm fine with a little bit of a slow setup to this next arc. I'm very curious as to what this next arc is going to be. You know what it is. You're the manga reader here, guys. Comment down below. Are you guys watching Boku no Hero? And are you happy that this last arc is finally past us? We're in the next core. We are starting the summer season. New arc. New me, right? New Boku no Hero. All right, let's get to something a little bit more hyped up, I think. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, episode 12. This was the final episode of the season. Yes, we're crying.
That's here.
We're not, listen, spoilers. We're not going to review the show here. We will get to that in our weekly discussion. So we're not going to look at the show holistically here. This is the weekly roundup. So we're just going to talk about this episode 12. And what an episode. What did you think of this week's episode, Germs?
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it was all done there. Some really nice little moments there. Some spice with the president with her painting.
Yes, always spice. Always spice with the president.
Extra. No, I think it was extra spice.
What a fantastic addition to the roster we have. Because besides Nagatoro, and of course we love her, but maybe not loving her for her attributes. All of her friends have wonderful attributes, and then we have the president. So you could tell that this was we could tell this was a former Dojin artist. This is a lovely cast of characters we have here. Always spicy with the president, yeah.
And I was surprised, like they showed the painting off a few times. I thought they were just gonna show it once and just but the studio is doing it well. So I'm really happy with the whole episode. And then the little moments between seeing all the little drawings that our boys made of Nagatoro, and the love in the paintings. So
yes, can't forget the paintings were made with love. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I feel like that, just that alone, that one line really set the whole series that we've had so far. I'll talk about that later, but I just felt love in this episode. There's just so much love in it.
Yeah, for sure.
And the ending scene there with doing that last little drawing, she wakes up and then closes her eyes. Oh yeah, beautiful, great way to.
Okay, you took the words out of my mouth. I swear I'm not lying here. I actually have that written down for my notes. That is the one word that I had at the end of this episode. Was beautiful. Just that word, beautiful. It kind of encapsulates what I think about the show. But again, the reviews later. This is just this episode. But yeah, what a ride, man. What a ride. I'm sad that this is over. This will no longer be a part of the weekly roundup. I mean, the weekly roundup will not be the same without the show. This is an MVP for sure. You know what's funny? You know how I noticed that I really, really love this show? I was watching this episode and a scene would go by, right? And you know how when you can't read subtitles, you'll go back 5 seconds just to catch them, right? I wasn't doing that. I was going back 5 seconds because I was like, I want to experience that moment again. So I'd watch 15 seconds, go back 5. Watch 15 seconds, go back 5. And it's like, why? Why would you do that? That sounds so stupid. The reason is because there's so many beautiful moments in the show. And listen, that's an advantage to manga, right? Like you read a page, you could absorb it at the speed you want, right? I mean, you could stare at the president's painting in the manga for an hour if you wanted, right? But with the anime, there's just so many cute moments between Nagatoro, Senpai, funny jokes. This whole episode, I would constantly go back. I'd hit the back button just because I want to experience it again, It's so weird. I don't think I've ever done that for a show, but and you know, usually you go back for like missing a sub or oh, like did I get that? I missed that? You know, I was too busy reading the subs. I didn't see what was on screen. But nah, dude, I was doing it because I wanted to relive the moments again. They just happened, but I still want to see them. You know, that's how I know I love the show. And beautiful. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
Not much
anything
left
else
to
to
say.
add? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, we can talk about the content of the episode. Basically, the festival happens. We have what was the a Torah cat? What was the name that
Oh, I
they
remember.
dressed up
Yeah,
as?
yeah.
But
That
oh
little
my god,
merchandise.
yes, genius! That was so funny. Come on, how is that not funny? That was so funny. And remember when one of them was the fat nerd? I laughed so hard at that moment. Remember he was in one of the costumes? That was one I went back on. I'm like, I have to see that again. That was funny. Just moments like that, man. Just moments like that. I guess a little bit anticlimactic because they didn't really vote to see who the winner was because you know the president's was too lewd, but it still works. I don't care. It was still good, you know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just a feel good show. If you drop this, you're not watching this if you dropped it, but it hypothetically, if you drop this because of the first few
Hypothetically.
episodes, if you drop this because of the first few episodes, you really don't know what you're missing. And that's something I think I'm going to highlight in the review because there's a lot of people that hate the show, but they literally don't understand it at all. This is like actually a very fun, cute, wholesome show. And yeah, great episode, great finale. That last little scene there was like
The
perfect.
cherry on top.
Even leading up to that scene, how Nagatoro was drawn, like in one of the scenes with the hallway, like when she was smiling at Senpai, I think I'm like, wow, like they kind of drew her different, but it was like a really, I like that artistic touch they did. Um, yeah, it did what it needed to do. Great season finale. Final thoughts for this week's episode of Nagatoro Germs.
Yeah, it's a great ending. You know, they left it off. You know, just now it's like, oh, they can just continue doing what they usually do. You know, there's no big cliffhanger like, oh, Nagatoro has a twin sister or like something like just like at the end of something dumb like that. You know, it just ended off nice. It's like, oh, it's over. I get to it's over. I don't need to check. Oh, is there another episode next week or something? It's like, no, this was the final episode. It felt perfect, and now it's done. Now we'll be sad boys until
Yes.
maybe we find something next week.
Huh. I assume there's obviously more content in the manga. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Again, I don't want to be that guy, but let's just say we never got any more adaptations of this great series. If we only had this one season, that there was no cliffhanger at the end of there. That was like
It's perfect.
like you said, it felt like a series finale, kind of. You know what I mean? So again, knock on wood, I don't want this to happen. But even if we didn't get a second season, again, I don't want this. But even if we didn't, as an anime only, if you only wanted to look at it through the anime, that was a pretty conclusive ending, kind of. Again, there's more of the story to tell, but they really not a cliffhanger at all. They just, it felt like a season finale for sure. So yeah, guys, Nagatoro is done. We are sad boys, and the Weeb retreat will never be the same. We've been singing the praises of this show week after week, and it's no longer with us. Rest in peace. Comment down below, have you finished Nagatoro like we did? If you did, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you for sticking around. All right. Let's get into this week's episode of Tokyo Revengers, episode 12. What did you think of this week's episode, Germs?
Ooh, spicy.
Oh, yeah.
So many little moments and the character development. I feel like every episode of this boy is being proven. When like I was a little like in the beginning, it was a little bit of like a flashback of the last episode. I'm like, get right, come on, get into the good show. I want to see Hina.
Yeah, a little bit.
But once we started getting in the apartment complex, he's like, shit, like I haven't seen her in like 12 years. I was just a kid back then. You're like, do I even have the right to see her? We're not dating. It's like fuck. But when I saw that necklace and that. Once they got into her room and they're both all up blushing, the brother's like, "Man, fuck this! I'm gonna go out."
So cute.
Oh, it was so good, and It's just so nice seeing those so many good moments, and then at the end, so many sad moments, so sad. But now we haven't now we know what's gonna happen next. But just a really great episode, I would say, in my opinion. I really enjoyed this episode. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Oh, dude, easily the best episode of the series so far. Would you agree? I
I think
mean,
so.
at least
Get a
in
little bit of
terms of
Hina, get a little
yeah.
bit of spice.
You know, I love me
Oof.
my Hina, man. When they were in the car, when they were blushing, when she made the confession that you broke up with me, even the foreshadowing leading up to it with the necklace, easily an 11 out of 10 episode. I mean, this was fantastic. This is what Tokyo Revengers needed for me personally. I'm not saying I was falling off, but um, the story's been good, but I wanted to get that excitement going again. You know what I mean? This gave me that excitement
A
again. I'm like,
reason.
yes. Um, phenomenal. All right, before I sing the praises of the show, I do want to ask a question. Again, we'll get back to how good it is. I do want to talk about how good this episode was, but the time travel just confuses me about the show, and maybe it's because I have monkey brain. Maybe it's I don't know, but I'm just confused because when Takamichi goes back in the past, he changes events, right? But then he fixes everything, comes back in the future,
12 years.
and Naoko he remembers Takamichi and he knows like, oh, you saved everything. So like how if what Takamichi's doing in the past changes the present and everything gets rewritten, Takamichi gets with Hina and he breaks up with her. Again, the whole timeline's rewritten, right? How does Naoko have this knowledge of like because in this universe that he's going back to, it's a new universe. He never like Naoko wouldn't know these things because Hina never died, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, it's like, do you have an answer for me? Like, do you know why?
That one I
Yeah,
do not
again,
know. Everything else is I understand the time, but yeah, that moment I was like, maybe they just he just knows a little bit, Maybe he just also knows his other selves or something like that. Maybe.
yeah, or there's something to him that we don't know in the story yet. Again, I'm not trying to nitpick the show. The show is great. I'm just confused, right? Because he goes back in the past, he changes events. The present gets changed. But Naoko was like, "Oh yeah, you fixed everything." It's like, whoa, wouldn't this be a different Naoko, right? Because Hina never died. He never would have had to. But
Mm-hmm.
again, maybe I'm nitpicking, maybe not. All right, let's get to how great the episode was. Let me rant here, not rant, but rant about my love of this episode. This episode was so good, dude. What did you think? Okay, let's just talk about the end. Let's just get right into it. What'd you think of that ending, dude? Oh my god,
Oh
what did
my
you think of that
god,
ending?
that was a tearjerker, man. It's just like he knew it was about to happen, and then like okay, she's still in the car. Like I'm like oh. She's still alive. And then that car starts getting like fuck. And then you see it's Akun in the car. It's like, oh no.
Oh yes, Akun. Hey, so that's very symbolic. Takamichi goes back and changes everything, but in reality, Hina still dies. Akun
Akun
is
still
still
died.
he's still deep in with the mob. He might not like be in the gang, but like he is taking orders from that one guy. Um, yeah, he goes back and things haven't really changed like he would like. Kisaki is his name. When I saw him see Takamichi in the bathroom, and
I thought
he's
he was gonna get
like, "Oh,
stabbed.
why aren't you both in the car?" He's like, "That would have been good if it was both of you at once," or he said something to that effect. I'm like, "Oh, oh no, they're gonna go after Hina." And yeah, uh, man, what'd you think of her legs being
Oh, so sad.
gone? So sad, dude.
I thought that
So
like some
sad.
way. It's like, oh no, she's a goner. And
She's a
then the
goner.
explosion. It's just so sad.
She
It was just so.
blows up, yeah. And then the big revelation is he wants to become the head of Toman. Takamichi. So he's going to go back in the past and he's now going to run the gang. So that would make sense. A lot of the pictures that we've seen with him in the coat and looking more gang related, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it got some setup for now. We have a reason to go back and change these things. We improved Akun's life. He's a barber and all that stuff, but we just pushed his death back a bit. We gotta solve all the
Yeah, and
problems.
we
And
also we
Hina,
also push
obviously.
Hina's death back. Like nothing changed. Nothing changed if you think about it. And that's the great thing about the show is like he's going back in the past to change everything and it appears that way, but no, cuz if everything was fixed, there's no more story. This would have been the final episode, but that's not the case. All right, final thoughts for this week's episode of Tokyo Revengers. I assume I know what you're going to say, but what do you think?
Fantastic episode.
I
Fantastic.
know.
Everything that Tokyo Revengers episode wanted to give me, except for fights, I guess, but everything else was fantastic.
Yeah, listen, this was like I read a comment. I thought the comment was very great. It was like 15 minutes of a rom-com and then 5 minutes of ReZero, which is kind of what this was like. Listen, any screen time with Hina and Takemichi, I love. I love it to death. And yeah, progression of the story. I was hooked the whole episode. Big cliffhanger at the end. Very, very sad to see that happen to my girl Hina. Guys,
Mm-hmm.
comment down below. Are you guys watching Tokyo Revengers with us? You better be. It's great. What did you think of this week's episode? And how much did you cry when Hina got whacked like that? All right, let's move on to the final show on the weekly roundup. We only have 4 shows. We started out with this podcast with 6. I dropped Shaman King. 86 came to a close, and now we only have 4 left. It's getting
Zooming
sad out
by.
here. Yep. Nomad, Megalo Box, Season 2, Episode 13. This is the final episode of this season of Megalo Box. What did you think? What did you think?
I'm pretty happy with it. It kind of ended in a pretty nice way. Everything got really concluded. I was a little sad. Our boy Sachio throwing the towels a little early, but other than that, really, the fight didn't really matter in the end.
Yes, that is a great point. That's a great point.
Everyone's character, Joe, Mac, and he was able to go into Mac time without even going. He just needed his family. He didn't need
It was a fair fight.
the rage. Yeah, it was beautiful. So I'm really happy with how they did this episode, and a lot of when I saw they threw the towel, I'm like, okay, now we have a little bit more time to finish everyone's story off here, and then they did it a nice way. Sachio is no longer a bitch anymore. He's going to be a mechanic for gears or something like that.
Yeah.
Really happy with how it went down. Really happy.
Yeah. Are you
What about you?
happy that you watched the season?
Oh yeah. I'm just really sad that not many other people are watching. That's the more sad part. That's the more sad
Me
part.
too. All right, let me get into 2 very minor complaints. Just like surface level complaints. I think warranted though, but not huge. And then I'll get to how much I love this episode. All right, you brought it up. Sachio throwing in the towel. A little anticlimactic. I was a little unsatisfied with the fight. Here's the thing. Here's why it's not that bad of a plot device. Why the criticism is not that detrimental to the show. Like you said, the fight doesn't really matter in the end. In Megalobox Season 1, if they just threw in the towel like this, I would have been pissed, right? Because that fight had a lot on the line. Like, the winner of that fight meant something. The winner of this fight didn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they both went in the ring. They both wanted to prove to themselves that they can, continue to do this. And that's what they did. That's what they did. They had an honorable fight. And this
They grew from
season,
the experience.
yeah. And the first season was very boxing heavy. This season kind of wasn't. If you think about it, right? If you really think about it, this was very story focused. This was not like a boxing anime season. There's boxing in here, but there's a lot more story going on outside of the ring. So that brings me to my second minor complaint. I just wish that maybe we had a whole. I just wish that maybe this episode would have happened one prior, and then like the final episode, we could resolve things, right? Like maybe. So this was episode 13. Maybe 12. Give us the fight, a longer fight, a more satisfying fight that we would like to see a little bit more back and forth and stuff like that. Maybe Joe has to dig deep and he, you know, has Chief's spirit visit him and give him word, give him his wisdom. And same with Mac, maybe his kids flash before his eyes. Like, give us an epic fight, and then the last episode kind of conclude all of the plot threads we have. But instead, what we have is the fight and them trying to conclude all the plot they have. And it kind of felt a little rushed to me, just a little bit. If they had had the fight the previous episode, I think that because they just had so much story stuff to tie up, I just think that they could have had a little bit more breathing room. You know what I mean? Just a little bit more breathing room. But besides that, I thought it was handled great.
Yeah. I was a little scared, 4 or so weeks ago. We were a little scared to like, oh, how's the ending going to be? Are we even be satisfied when this is all over? So those fears, luckily we didn't have to worry about it. This is not the best ending. Obviously, as you said, there's some improvements that could have happened, but we were just scared that we weren't going to be able to get an ending at all. So
yeah.
So I'm happy with that.
Yeah. What did you think of that final? I thought that final scene was so good, dude. Oh my gosh. After that final scene, I was like, thank you. So basically, Joe drops Sachio off. I think Sachio takes his bike, right? That's his bike. Rides off into the sunset.
His old bike.
This is a series finale. I don't think they make a third season. He rides off into the sunset. Joe thinks he hears something. Clearly, the audience hears something. It's didactic. It's Nambu talking. And as the camera pans past the truck to the bed of the truck, you see Nambu sitting there with a beer. Saying, "Oh, it's gonna get lonely now." So good, right? So good. Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess kind of not much to say. I have my little complaints, but it felt rushed, but it did what it needed to do, so I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm really.
All right.
I'm
So
happy.
final thoughts for this final episode of Megalo Box.
A really nice episode. Not a fantastic, perfect episode, but not very really that ever happens. So I'm just happy with this episode and what we got as a conclusion here to the series. I would imagine. I can't really imagine much after this. So I'm really happy with how they did it. This wasn't just like a season finale. This was like a series finale. It felt in a really nice way. So that's all I could hope for. So I'm happy.
Yeah, guys, check out Megalo Box if you haven't. A lot of people checked out the first season. Not a lot of people talking about the second season. We're gonna review this as well. We're gonna review this alongside Nagatoro, but it is, in my opinion, that this is a hidden gem. People are not talking about this, especially if you're a fan of combat sports. Check this anime out. All right, so that's the weekly roundup. Let's get into the winner of the week. Only 4 candidates. We've dropped from 6 to 5 to 4 after this week. Well, we'll make an announcement, but we're only going to have 2 from the spring season because they're all, Tokyo Revengers and Boku no Hero continues, but Nagatoro and Megalo Box have ended. So, yeah, who is the winner of the week for you? Because I feel like this is a very difficult choice, honestly.
Oh yeah, one of the most difficult ones. Which makes sense. A lot of these, 2 of them are season finales, and one has in the new core, and the other one's a new core as well. Really, but I love Boku no Hero, but Boku no Hero is not going to be from the 3 I'm choosing.
Yeah, let's put that aside. We got Megalo Box. We have a good ending.
A season finale.
Nagatoro, season finale. Nagatoro, good ending as well. Good season finale. But hey, we got that Tokyo Revengers as well, man.
So spicy. So spicy.
So it's like, okay, of those 3, which one are you kicking to the curb next?
Oh, fuck, it's so hard.
It's hard.
It's
you
really
want me to go first? You need to think about it?
Yeah, you go first.
I don't want to influence your opinion, though.
I know.
But think about it while I talk.
But you usually do it. I usually go first every time, so now we're on the flip end here.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Boku no Hero gets put aside. Megalo Box gets put aside. The fight was not satisfactory, but everything else was good. It's just that the other 2 are just better, Like Megalo Box is like a 9 out of 10, but then you have Tokyo Revengers and Nagatoro. That's like a 10 out of 10, So again, near perfect episode, but it just felt a little bit rushed. So let's focus on the two perfect episodes, in my opinion. Nagatoro and Tokyo Revengers. I don't have any complaints with either of those episodes. Man, it's so tough, man. It's so tough. But here's the thing. If I were to talk about specific moments, Nagatoro wins because they're just moments that warm my heart. But if I'm looking at the episode, I'm actually going to give it to Tokyo Revengers this week. Yes, that's right. Tokyo Revengers is beating out Nagatoro's season finale. I can't believe I'm doing Nagatoro dirty like this. Sorry, but I'm going to give it to Tokyo Revengers because, like, what a ride that was. What an episode that was. That was a fucking crazy episode. But that's my winner of the week. Have you had time to think it over? What's your winner of the week, Germs?
Well, why you gotta steal my choice, man? I was about to say the exact same thing in a second. I'm like, oh yeah, I was thinking like original. I'm like, oh, I'll probably do Tokyo Revengers. There's just so many good episodes in there. Naruto is obviously fantastic. Feels so good, but just the roller coaster that Tokyo Revengers and it felt like I watched like 2 whole episodes. It didn't even feel like an episode. There's so much good stuff, but like the pacing felt so good, so good. So yeah, I'm also giving it to Tokyo Revengers as well. It was such a, and the best thing is this isn't the finale. So now we're going right into another episode, and with that momentum that we got, so hopefully they get to keep it up.
Well, it's going to start a new core, like you said. It's a new arc. We're going to start a new arc. He's going to go back, and a whole new arc is going to start. So, yeah, guys, what did you think of our picks for the winner of the week? We keep agreeing. Look at that. We're colluding over here.
This one's a shock, though.
It is. It's not a shock that we agree, but it's a shock what we picked, honestly. What is your winner of the week? Comment down below. We would love to hear your guys' opinions. Listen, Nagatoro's final scene, that final post-credit scene, beautiful. That was the best minute of this whole week, right? I would put that minute over any other minute of all these anime that we've seen, right? Best moment for sure. But again, we're looking at the whole episode, not just a specific scene. You're looking at the whole episode, I got to go with Tokyo Revengers, man. That was a hell of a roller coaster. All right, let's get into the weekly discussion here. We got 2 reviews for you guys. That's right, the two anime that we just talked about that just ended, Nagatoro and Megalo Box. We are first going to start with, actually, what are we gonna start with? Should we flip a coin?
Nagatoro.
You got a coin on you?
Oh,
Nagatoro. Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Nagatoro. All right, here is our spoiler free. We're gonna do spoiler free.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Yeah. Here is our spoiler free review of Nagatoro. Infamous anime. You might have heard of it. You've definitely seen memes of it. You've definitely seen people pissed off about it on Twitter, probably. All right. What did you think of Nagatoro? Generally speaking, Germs.
Absolutely fantastic. What an not even just adaptation. What a show. Like, I don't think we had a single episode that we were like, oh, it was kind of meh episode. It's always just good episode after good episode. Obviously some are, it's a little bit higher than others, and just the ending, it felt so satisfying. Yes. The whole series just feels good. It's over. It's like, oh, perfect. It's like you had like a nice like dinner or something, and you had just enough room for that dessert, and you're like, you're good with the dessert, and you're like, oh, I feel so good. I feel refreshed. I get to go relax. Maybe take a nap or something. It just felt the whole series is just so good. You're not going to have a bad time watching this unless you just hate it right from the beginning. But if you saw the episode 1 and you like it, oh, what a ride you're going to be in for.
Keep going. Don't give up. Don't listen to the people. It may be a little bit uncomfortable for the bullying aspect, and we'll talk about all that, but please truck through it. Keep going. But yeah, anything else? I mean, generally speaking?
Yeah, that was just the general speaking there. So what are your general thoughts there?
Listen, this is the controversial anime of the season. Yes, it's a rom-com that focuses on, I guess, bullying. You have a younger classman, you have a female who is very I don't even know how do you describe Nagatoro? She's just very eccentric, I guess. You have
outgoing
her senpai, the protagonist of this show. He is kind of a recluse. He's kind of nerdy, kind of a shut-in, not very social. And so, yeah, she picks on him it's the bullying anime, but it is a rom-com. They do, you know, develop a chemistry between them. It's very funny, very romantic at times, very cute. Don't listen to the people. Listen, when I watch the first, I'd love to go back and watch the first episode of this podcast because, actually, no, I don't think. I think Nagatoro took a little bit later to air. I forget which episode it was, but I'd like to go back and watch my first impressions of episode one because I remember saying to you, I'm intrigued, but I don't know if I'll like this because of all this bullying stuff. Like she was picking on him pretty hard there in the beginning. But again, just get past that. Understand that there is a. It's not just like cruel. Like there's a reason for it in the story, and it's not like that. It's not bad at all. It's not like that cruel, to be honest with you. But I know that some people might be turned off by it. Like, why do I want to see this weird girl pick on this guy? You know. But if you like rom coms, watch this. You know. Uh,
Better than
highly,
Kaguya.
highly.
And
Whoa! Better than Kaguya?
well, for what we have now, yeah, easily. We don't need like
Germs
5
dropping the
seasons,
knowledge.
whatever. We only need a season to get to where they get in like 5. That's just how it is with rom coms.
I would agree with him. It's probably better than Kaguya right now. Damn, that's a hot take. People are not going to be happy with that. No, I'd agree with
It's the truth.
that. It's the truth. We speak nothing but the truth here, man. Listen, we're big fans of this series. We have been loving it week after week, but what's not to love, man? It's hard not to love it, right? Like, I'm not doing it just because you like it and you were a manga reader. Like, it genuinely was a good show. Yeah, I mean, not we'll keep it short. Kind of not much to say. It gives you what you want. It's episodic. Typically the second half of the episode, like they'll have like two different storylines. Typically the second half of the episode is where all the spiciness comes in. Yeah, anything else to add about Nagatoro other than go watch it, people. Go watch it. Stop watching this. Leave a like and sub before you leave and go watch not Kaguya, Nagatoro. What am I saying? Anything else to say about it?
No, I'm just really happy, and and then from a manga's perspective, this is beautiful. Not just a perfect adaptation, a better better than just going right from one to another. Like
Yeah.
the style and everything that they added, it took it from just like a really nice manga to a really fantastic anime, which is you can't really say for a lot of things. But this is just a perfect example. Even if I didn't read the manga, this would be just absolutely great time as you have had.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really just happy. I'm really just happy with it.
Well, it's what an adaptation should be. It elevated the source material. It took the source material and it gave it life and it, took it to higher places. And I'm not saying the manga's bad, of course not, but it did everything it
Gives it
needed
some
to
love.
do. The animation's great. Never a bad frame, never. Music is great. Voice actors, great. Story, it's a simple story. If you want a more engaging story, this is not for you. It's a simple rom-com, but for what it is, it's very entertaining, very wholesome. It'll hit you in the feels. The characters are great. Not a big cast of characters. I like that though, because again, a bigger cast of characters, you kind of get less time with each one. The real two here are Nagatoro and Senpai. That's what the show is about. It's about those
That's what
two.
it should be.
Yeah, you have Nagatoro's friends, and you have the president. That's another character that you'll meet down the line. But it's basically a story of Nagatoro and Senpai. The chemistry between them is what makes the show the show. So if you like that, you'll like it. If you want something more engaging, something different, then it's a simple rom com. You have to know what you're walking into. So we both recommend it. That's obvious. What do you rate it out of 5?
Easy, 5 out of 5.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 for me as well. Yeah, we've sung its praises week after week. I mean, it's Nagatoro.
Yeah, I think we get this of our Weeb seal of approval.
Yes, the Weeb seal, the Weeb Retreats Weeb seal of approval.
Number 1
stamp on this one. Is this our first 5 out of 5?
Mm-hmm. As it should be.
Damn. Yeah, as it should be, really. So yeah, guys, gals, comment down below. Have you seen Nagatoro? What'd you think of this little quick review? Please check it out. Sub to the channel. We'd very much appreciate that if you enjoyed this content. All right. So that is Nagatoro. She's gone. I feel sad about that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into Nomad, Megalo Box Season 2. This is also a show that is leaving us behind. Spoiler free. We'll do spoiler free for this one as well. We'll get to
Mm-hmm.
spoilers. I think there's more juicy stuff to talk about spoiler wise with this one. So we'll have a spoiler
Yeah.
section. We'll put a timestamp for that. So let's start with the spoiler free. Generally speaking, what did you think of this second season, man?
Yeah, it's really interesting how this show went because, like, initially, once we get thrown into the new season, we're like, oh, it's very different than what the first season was, and we were very liking what was happening, and then it kind of transitions again back to a more different, more back to the season one kind of style, and we're like, okay, they're still doing pretty well, and it ended really nicely for the series, not even just a season, series as well. So
Probably. We're speculating, but probably. I mean, this probably. I'd bet money that this doesn't get a third season, which is very sad. A lot of people didn't watch the season. Very
mhm.
sad. Very sad.
Yeah, so just really happy with how the season two went. The second half maybe wasn't as great as the first half, but the first
Yeah.
half is just absolutely fantastic, and the second half isn't bad. It's just compared to that first half, it's like okay, not as fantastic what they're doing, but it's still doing really well, and the way it ended is really nice. So just overall, really nice, a really nice watch, especially if you watch the first season. You might be turned off a little bit initially with the first episode or so, but it's Megalo Box season two, but just a little bit better, I would say, than the first one, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. A very different season. Very different. Um, if you saw the first season of Megalobox, you gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. If you're interested in combat sports, you gotta watch this. If you like boxing, of course you gotta watch this. Very, very different season. When this was announced, I think a lot of people were like, "Does this show really need a second season?" I thought that. The first season wraps up nicely. There's no going into this. There's no need for a second season. But Megalo Box season 2 very clearly establishes why we need a second season.
Oh
It
yeah.
takes the story in a completely different direction. Uh, the big seller here is the theme, and you'll see this throughout the series. It's the theme of the hummingbird, the theme of home, the theme of the nomad. And you see, when the season begins, you see Joe's in a bad state. His well, that might be a slight spoiler, but let's just say he's not in a good state. He's kind of lost everything from his triumph at the end of the first season, and it's kind of his journey back to the top, but not the
In the
typical
usual
journey
way.
back. Yeah, like it's not the usual way. Like there's a lot more to the story. It's not just him getting back to the top. There's a lot of lessons to be had here. A lot of relationships he has to mend. And it's not even so much, I mean, about getting to the top and just being the best. It's kind of a soul searching story with Joe. And yeah, it's go into it knowing that it's different than the first season. This is not super like boxing heavy, but it's worth a watch in my opinion. It's very much worth a watch. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, I would definitely agree. Yeah, that's why we're really sad every week when we see it so low on the rankings and stuff. It's a great time and so many lessons and stuff you can learn from this that a normal anime won't give you. This is a
Yes.
special case here, something special.
Talk to me about the animation, the OST, the voice actors. It's an anime original. The first season was created to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Ashita no Joe. That's a classic boxing anime. So again, it's all new source material. This is all stuff they came up with. Just generally speaking, the story, characters, just the whole package. What would you think?
Yeah, I was really happy with it. The story maybe sometimes wasn't as strong as I would want
True.
it to be, but the everything else around it, the music, the characters, everything like that was really fantastic. It was really never really dipped there in that department. So I'm
Yeah,
really happy with how they did this season.
I think the OST was fantastic. Like the hummingbird theme, I thought that was great. Um, Voice actor's great. Everything it was good. The animation has its own style, but it's the same style as season one. So if you like the style in season one, it's the same style. Um,
Mhm.
almost like I don't
An
even know
old
how I would describe.
school, thicker
Yeah,
lines.
like a grainy feel to it. It's
Hmm.
weird. You got to look at it to see. I'm probably not even accurately describing it, but it's got that Megalo Box animation quality
Look.
to it. Yeah, it's got that look to it. Yeah. So would you recommend this?
Oh yeah, I easily recommend this. This is something totally different than what you're gonna get normally with all these, fantasy and all the adventure stuff. This is a more back to home, back to basics, just good story, and it's really nice.
Yeah, that's the heart of this one. I think the heart of the first season is action. The heart of this one is definitely the story. Would you so you recommend the second season? Would you recommend people who haven't seen Megalobox go check out the first season and then watch this one as well? Like, do you recommend the series as a whole?
Yeah, I think so because like you get the little bit more monkey brain the first season. You see people punching each other. You get a little bit of spice in there. And then now you're hooked in. Now you get right to the second season. Now you're getting a little bit more story, more lessons and stuff. They don't just hit you right. Luckily, it's like second season, so you're not just hit with all these lessons stuff right from the beginning.
Right.
So I think overall, just as a series, it's really fantastic. It gives you that hook in the initial beginning with that monkey brain, just action and sports, and then you get more into the more about fighting. The behind the scenes of it, and the consequences of stuff.
And a lot
So
of relationship stuff here. A lot of play on relationships, people mad at people, people being, sort of used and abused. Not to spoil anything, but deaths. I mean, a lot of interesting things going on with this one. I think it's safe to say we both recommend this. Here is the real question: what are you giving this out of
yes,
5?
that is the big question.
That's the big
I
question.
was thinking about this all day, since, but I'll probably unfortunately just have to give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay, no, that's fair. I'd give it a 4. I'm not giving it a 5. Yeah,
I know.
I thought you were
It's so
gonna say like a
sad.
3. Yeah, no,
Hmm.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, this isn't like S tier. This isn't like the best thing you'll see, but I have a soft spot for it. I really like it. I just think it's just unique. I like combat sports. It does everything for me. It's completely different than the first season. The first season's great, but this takes the story in a very interesting new direction. There's this new community that they meet. Um, turns out it was actually called Casa. Um, but yeah, Hispanic vibes. You meet a character. His name is Chief. Great character arc with him. Great symbolism. Yeah. So we recommend it. We're both gonna give it a 4 out of 5. We both agreed on the rating for the other one. So look at us. We're always in agreement here at the Weeb Retreat. No need to ever be hostile. Let's get into spoilers. Anything in I don't know if I have anything in particular I want to talk about, but I'll piggyback off of you. Is there anything in particular you want to talk about with the series?
Well,
I'll start with
I
this.
think
Are you go ahead. Sorry.
the one big thing that just from the get go got us is Chief, man.
Yeah.
Chief really hooked us and got us into the season. If it wasn't for that Chief arc and right in the beginning, I think we wouldn't have been as satisfied with the season and the series as a whole. But I think
Oh,
adding in that
yeah.
Chief and everything that he did after, in the story wise, not even he didn't have to even be there physically; he was dead. But as a character and as a symbol to Joe, Chief really carried the show.
I think he did. I think he did because if you kill off Nambu, then Joe still needs like a mentor figure. But this mentor figure is one that mirrors him, right? I mean, also was a nomad at one point, but he's learned the lessons of how important home is, and at that point, Joe didn't really have a home, and yeah,
Really
Chief was
happy with that.
great. Without that Chief arc, yeah, you're right. This would be like a 7. That Chief arc elevates it because of, but not just because of Chief's character, because of the meaning it gives to the show, because of the symbolism it gives to the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, from the yeah, all the things he did afterward, even in death, it was Joe going back to home, really wanting to connect back with Sachio. He didn't just go on to some random other town and start boxing again. He went back to home, and wanted to really rebuild there, not just start anew, but go back and finish what he started.
Right. Right. Were you let down by the lack of action in this season? And again, I think we both agree it's not it wasn't action heavy on purpose, but going in, we probably expected it. I thought it was just going to be like another season, like season 1. I did not expect it to be a completely radically different show, and that's a good thing. But were you surprised at the lack of action? I mean, we didn't get many fights this season.
Well, before I started, I was expecting a little bit. I was expecting like another tournament, or something like that.
Yeah.
A whole another big fights. But once we started, and
I
got
thought
those
there was
going to
be another Megalonia, dude. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so after like the first few episodes, I was like, okay, this isn't going to be as action. This is going to be more story. There's still some fights even during there, but from the tone that the first few episodes set and the pacing that it started, I wasn't too surprised once we started that there wasn't that much action for Joe, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes sense. That's just the way the story was written. Question: Hidden gem?
Oh yeah, easily.
Easily, right?
Unfortunately, it's just so sad that it's so low and so underrated, or not underrated, underwatched. Really, that's the I think. So
I think the people watching it like it, but not a lot of people watching it. So yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Why do you think that is?
I have zero idea. I think the first season did really well watch wise. I think a lot of people watched the first season when it came out. So it's just really interesting to see how these days no one really cares about it that much. Obviously, the ones that are watching are real ones, but I guess people were just watching some other stuff then.
Right. All right. So yeah. Anything else to talk spoiler wise?
Nothing spoiler wise, but I remember you said this like last review or two of them. When you were talking about like once this show is over, it's gonna still be there. It's gonna really, we're gonna go back to it in a few years or 10 years, whatever, and we're gonna be like, wow, what a great show. It's the themes and everything it did was just absolutely fantastic. So I think I just wanted to bring that up again for people that maybe didn't see that episode. So yeah, just really happy. I can't wait to see this. Just look back on this and be like, oh, what a fantastic the stuff they did there. So just really happy with it.
Yeah, this absolutely is going to age like a fine wine. We will come back in 5 years, 10 years, and be like, wow, this was good. I'm glad that I experienced it with you. I'm glad that we watched it. I'm glad that I was a part of it, because this will be a little piece of anime history that isn't talked about much. This wasn't watched heavily, and we know how good it was, but the people don't. The people were sleeping on this one. It's not a hidden gem in that no one's heard of it. It's just a hidden gem that no one's watched it. That's real sad. But yeah, man, I'm just happy. This was probably the most emotional show this season. Would you agree? This one pulled at my like Nagatoro, like
was like a happy.
Nagatoro was very wholesome, but this one like pulled at my heart. Like this one pulled at my soul, bro. This one hit me where it hurt. Like there was some really deep stuff in here, and it's just. I guess not all good anime are the ones that are the most popular. Not all popular anime are the good ones. So, yeah, goes to show you. All right, so that'll be the end of our spoiler discussion. I think we both share a love and appreciation for this hidden gem. Comment down below. Have you guys seen Megalo Box? Are you part of the Megalo Box fam? If you haven't, what are you doing? When are you going to go check it out? And did our review convince you to check it out at all? That'd be great, right? I mean, one of the most satisfying things could be us giving a review, and that gets you guys into an anime that was really good, something that you enjoy. So comment down below. Let us know what you thought about Megalo Box. If you haven't seen it, are you even intrigued now that we gave a 4 out of 5 review? Almost got that seal of approval. And we're certain nothing else got a 5 out of 5 yet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Wonder Egg did. That's okay. That's okay. Nagatoro doesn't have to be the first to be a boss. All right. Ready to get into the weekly news here, Germs?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into it. This is your favorite. So, 86 season 2 coming back October. So this is a 2-core anime, but they are not consecutive. They're going to take a break during the summer season, coming back in the fall season. Yeah. I know that you're hyped up about this. Why don't you share with the audience how excited you are to see some more 86 Germs?
Oh, I'm so excited. Woo woo. I love 86. But back to the realness of
NPC.
the Weeb
He's
retreat.
being an NPC.
I mean, now we're back to the real Weeb retreat. This shit's garbage. Hopefully, second season can and the reason is I hate it so much.
By the way,
Not hate
before you
it,
go on,
but-
before you go on, we got a plug review right up there. Go see Germ's real unfiltered thoughts of 86. But yes, please continue, Jeremy. Please.
Like, there's so much set up in the lore, and the world building is absolutely fantastic for so long. I'm like, oh, episode 6. You can look at the previous reviews and see when I was saying that. I was like, okay, the world building's great. You know, this is a great series, so many great things going on, but it hasn't hooked me yet. I'm waiting for that hook, and the hook never came. You know, I was like, I don't know. You know how they even. I was ready for ready to go to Disneyland with the family. Everyone was like, oh, we're gonna go, and then we never went. So it's like. Now I hate Disneyland. Now I hate 86. So maybe the second season is gonna have some great things going on. I'd imagine, you know, with all the world building and stuff they had set up. But I'll probably watch it, but I'm not going to be very happy. Maybe a new cast will come in. They won't die every episode.
That's funny.
So maybe that's how the series saves itself, and just skip all that world building. You know. So that's the only thing that season 2 can do to save the series for me. If we just get season,
it's on
1,
life support. 86 is on life support for Germs. It's got to save itself.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my thoughts on season 2. It's got to do something new. If we keep getting the same episodes over and over again, what's the point of making a second season? You know?
Yeah.
Just re-air the first season.
By the way, hey, let's talk about that real quick. Last week's episode, I did say that they had a special this week for 86. Turns out that it's just a recap of the season. So no point in putting that on the weekly roundup. I didn't feel like it was worth it. You don't feel like it was worth it. So yeah, if anyone watched from last week was like, hey, why didn't they discuss that 86 special episode? Because there wasn't much to it. I'll probably watch it right before season 2, but there's no point in watching that right after you finish 12 weeks of watching it every week. You know, it'll be great for trying to get back into it for season 2, but no point in watching it or reviewing it. It's literally just a recap. So, yeah, you said a lot of setup. I wish I would have said this in the review. It just came to me. Lots of setup, little payoff. Very little payoff, almost no payoff, to be honest with you. But lots of setup. So yeah, you're not hyped. So yeah, this is slated for October. No specific date, but yeah, when October comes around, I will be checking on you, pal, to make sure that you're watching this one. Yeah, fun. Again, check out the review. Germs has a lot of opinions about it. All right, let's get into something that I think you might like a little bit more, Germs. If you guys are living under a rock, or if you're not weebs, but if you are weebs, you've certainly heard about it. There's a studio. It's called MAPPA. They've been killing it. Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan. In my opinion, I think you'd probably agree, but I think they're the next big studio. They're the next big.
Oh yeah, I think they might already be. I think they might already be. Honestly.
Oh, they already. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, but like, they're not only are they, but they're continuing to establish that even more.
Make it legendary.
Yeah. So MAPPA Stage 2021 aired a couple hours ago from this recording. Guess what we got, Germs? We got a new trailer for their upcoming IP they picked up. You might have heard of this manga as well, Chainsaw Man. So we can't play it for obvious reasons, but you've checked out the trailer. I've checked out the trailer. What did you think of the trailer?
Oh, spicy! The music and the chainsaw sounds. I feel like I was about to watch Doom the anime, and the
Yeah.
visuals and some of the Sakuga is like, oh yeah, this is spice. And it seemed like there's also like some character moments there, not just like pure just action. So it's nice showing those little moments as well. So I'm just really hyped for it, and some of the designs and stuff. It's like, oh, nice. Some of the scenes. I saw like one weird scene where it was like 3D, and I'm like, that seems a little off. But everything else was like top tier. So I'm really just happy with what we saw in the teaser trailer, and hopefully that's how the season is. Luckily, we still have time for that, so that's what got me even more excited because we already have all this stuff, and we're still seasons away. So really excited.
Right. And I don't, from what I'm reading, I don't think it's announced what season this will come out. I assume 2022. They could maybe get it out in the fall, but I feel like that might be pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we still have Attack on Titan next year. We still have obviously Kaizen will continue at some point. This fall we have Kaizen's movie coming out. So yeah, this live stream event was their 10th anniversary of the studio, and yeah, lots of goodies we'll talk about here. But I thought the trailer was fantastic, dude. I thought it looked beautiful, and let's just say there's a lot of interesting people who are fans of Chainsaw Man. Not representing us Westerners very good in the comments section of the live stream. A lot of barking from them. It's embarrassing, honestly, but that's the only controversy about this. I think there's no other controversy. I think even the
I think
manga
no one's
readers are
mad.
happy. No one's mad.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one take, but I don't know if they were trolling or not. I mean, everyone's pretty much in agreement. This looks beautiful. Um, I'm excited. It looks like horror meets like
Action.
like romance, but like deep romance, like very intense romance, but also like this horror kind of gore aspect to it. I don't know, man. Looks interesting. Does not look like a
Mm-hmm.
typical shonen at all. I mean, this isn't a shonen. This is
Oh,
a seinen,
this
right?
is seinen easily.
Yeah. So it's not going to be your. It's probably going to be as big as a shonen, but it's not going to be your typical, what you'd expect a big popular anime to be. So I'm excited for this dark aspect to it. And all the manga readers are like, "Oh man, these guys don't know what they're it gets so good." I bet they're all like they have no idea how good it gets. But
I've seen some panels, and I'm like, this looks so hype even without the context of whatever this is.
yeah, I
Like some of
know.
the character and monster designs, it's like, bruh, this shit is like, woo. So I'm
Yeah,
really
I want
excited
to
to
go
see
in
even with
blind.
the context and everything. I just see a picture. It's like, oh, that's a really cool looking like demon or monster. It's like, wow, that's really sick. But being
Right.
able to see it in an episode with all that Sakuga and all, it's like, oh, it's gonna.
Yeah, Mappa's doing what they do. They bring it to life. I kind of want to go into this one blind, man. I don't want to know shit about Chainsaw Man. I just want to experience it and the greatness that Mappa will be giving us. All right, so let's conclude this episode with one last bit of weekly news here. It's also coming from Mappa Stage 2021. Like I mentioned, they have Kaizen. They're coming out with Chainsaw Man, and they actually have picked up Attack on Titan from Wit Studio. They are doing the final season. And they gave us the final season, but now we need the final season part 2. They have released a teaser visual. Again, not a trailer, nothing like that, but we have a visual. You haven't seen it yet, Jerome. I'm sending it
Nope.
to you right now.
Let's see what it looks like.
Click that link for me and give me your impressions of this image. But we'll have the image on the screen, obviously, for you guys to see. But yeah, we got a little bit of a teaser for
Ooh.
the final season part 2.
Spicy. No, I didn't expect to see this kind of visual here. This is a very
Yeah.
different landscape, and who the fuck is this girl?
Yeah.
Or I'm assuming it's a girl, but very interesting visual here. And just like the shock that looked on Aaron's face there. Very interesting. Very interesting what's going to happen here.
and it's all gonna conclude. I mean, Attack on Titan
I
is
hope
gonna
so. I
finish,
hope there's no
man.
part 3.
No, there can't be. There's no way. There's no way. They already trolled us with a final season part 2. There's no way they do it with a part 3. But yeah, it looks like a world tree of some sort. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
God,
Very interesting.
I wish I remembered the Norse. I think is it
The
Yggdrasil?
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
Mhm.
Yeah. Does that come from Norse mythology? I
Oh yeah.
believe.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The
Maybe it
world
has a
tree.
connection to Yggdrasil. I don't know. It certainly has a connection to the Rumbling or the Founding Titan. Or oh man, I want them to get into the Founding Titan stuff. That will keep me on the edge of my seat. I want to learn about that stuff. But Attack on Titan teaser visual. If you're a manga reader, comment below. Is this how the tree of whatever it is? Is that how it's supposed to look like? You guys happy with how it looks? Comment down below. No spoilers for that ending. I know you're all pissed off at it, but we don't need to hear about it. We are anime onlys. We don't need to see that. Yeah, that's gonna be it for the weekly news. Well, any final thoughts on the teaser? You like it?
It looks nice, and the visuals look really interesting. So I wonder how this is gonna shape up here. Woo.
Yeah, Mappa is becoming such a powerhouse of a studio that every year, if they have a live stream event, that's just going to be like, all right, that's the big studio to look out for. Kaizen, Attack on Titan, Chainsaw Man. Lord knows what else they pick up.
Oh, they have so much. It's too much good stuff.
So much. So, all right. So that is going to be it for the episode. But I do want to give a preview for next week's episode. So as you guys know, this is the final episode of the spring season. Luckily for you guys, that does not mean that is the final episode of the Weeb Retreat podcast. We will continue. So, yes, when we began this podcast in spring 2021, we had 6 shows on the roundup. Of those 6, the first to go was Shaman King. That went to the garbage where it belonged. 86 ended last week. This week, we had
Nagatoro, Megalo
Nagatoro end.
Box.
We had Megalo Box end. That's correct. Thank you, Germs. What would I do without you here? Boku no Hero and Tokyo Revengers continue. So yes, we will be continuing to review those episodes every week, but we're not going to have just a weekly roundup with just 2 shows. So we're going to link up right here for our preseason episode. Check it out, please. But yeah, summer is coming. New core, all new anime. So for the summer roundup, we're going to be having more shows to talk about. So we're going to be adding Kobayashi Dragon Maid Sama season 2. We'll be discussing episodes of that every single week. We have probably the worst title in existence, but it's called Peach Boy Riverside. Don't ask why we're watching this, but we're watching it. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to be reviewing episodes every week for you guys. That one's coming up soon, I believe. Next, we have Girlfriend. This is a train wreck. This is a shit show. We will be reviewing these episodes every week for you guys. Hope you all are entertained by that. And then we have another one a little bit later on in this season. It's got a long Japanese title. We're just gonna call it Itiden. It's by Mappa, and we're very excited for that one as well. Would you agree with that, Germs? So
Real spicy.
we got a real spicy list for you all. You thought summer was dying down? No, we're back up to 6 again. Look at us. We're working hard for you. Yeah. And if you like that roundup, tell us. If you don't, also tell us. We'd love to hear what we're missing out on. I mean, hey, it's all speculation at this point. None of it has aired yet. But on next week's episode, I think 2 of them air. I think we're going to have 2 more shows to talk about. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. That's it. That's our show for you guys today. A little bit on the shorter side, but we gave you 2 reviews and some Mappa news. And some 86 news. Germs is very excited about that. Weebs, if you enjoyed this content, I know you did. You're at the end here. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. And you need to subscribe at this point. You're almost compelled to. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, you need to give us a follow there as well. Also on the socials, all of that's in the description. Is there anything that you would like to add before we conclude our, I think, 12th Are we on 12 episodes? Before we conclude our 12th episode, the final episode of the Spring's 2021 season, we're a new podcast. This is our first season of anime. We just concluded it. Yeah. Any final thoughts before we conclude this one?
Yeah, get ready for next season of the Weeb Retreat next week. It's gonna be as spicy as always, and even more spicy shows as well.
Yes. Summer is slowly upon us. We would love to see you guys there. You better click on those videos, watch them. Yeah. So as always, that'll be the episode. We'll see you weebs next week. Peace.